Rachel Kwok, welcome to the Marketing for Business podcast.
Thank you for having me.
I'm excited to have you here. I can sense that you're not as excited as I am, but that's okay because I love talking to smart people. And look, you're the New Zealand Executive Officer for the National Kitchen and Bathroom Association.
That's right.
I was lucky enough to speak at one of your events, and I was so impressed with the members that you had and the enthusiasm I guess your association has for everything design, kitchen and bathroom.
Yeah, absolutely.
You guys live and breathe it, right?
Absolutely. And like you said, our members are super passionate.
Yeah.
Everything design.
So we're going to talk more about that because I was, some of the things that you're doing. I even got invited to go up to to Hamilton to talk. People were really excited. They love where marketing's going, where innovation's going, but also, like there are a group of people passionate about their industry, which I think is fantastic. And your role there, what is your role? You're looking after strategic the direction of the association. So what does your day-to-day look like?
To be honest, Scott, every day is different.
Every day is different?
It's a busy role.
Yeah.
So NKBA is a big association, and we focus on the kitchen and bathroom design industry. My day-to-day is everything from running budgets, it's managing the team, organising events, marketing, looking at conference planning. We run awards. We have an education program. So I can be picking up any of those things day-to-day.
That's crazy. So when you look at obviously events and your conferences and that's the thing I spoke at, how many members do you actually have?
So we've got approximately 1,300 individuals that sit under our membership, and they come from approximately 500 businesses. So it's a variety of designers, suppliers to the industry, manufacturers. Nice. We've got fabricators, and we've got a whole lot of students as well.
Oh, cool. So everything when it comes to, if it touches a kitchen, if it touches a bathroom, they have the potential to be in the association.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nice.
Yeah.
What do you love about like seeing, when you put those conferences together, getting a group of people together? What do you love about that?
What I really enjoy is, and you would have seen it yourself, is the inspiration and the passion that's in the room. And if we can bring in, somebody amazing to speak to them or to teach and learn, our designers are so passionate about learning every day. Yeah. So it's always when we can bring that kind of value and we just see them really soaking it up. Yeah, it's brilliant.
And definitely, like they asked a lot of questions, and which I really appreciate that as someone who goes out there and speaks. Sometimes people don't ask any questions, like, oh, did I hit the mark? But they definitely, I'm curious. When you think about like the direction of design and innovation happening in your industry, where do you see it going? And do you see, I guess, marketing? You've got a background in marketing. You see how much of marketing do you see in that, and I guess in that innovation coming forward?
Yeah, so I guess what I'm seeing in the industry is that change towards technology, and so there's a big shift towards, the fridge where you can see what you're at the supermarket, you can see in the fridge. Bringing in AI towards some of the design processes, being able to utilise some of those resources. Of course, that doesn't take away from the skills that the designers have, but it's just a tool that they can access to help them to be more efficient.
Yeah, and that is crazy when you start to look at some of the technology that's happening in and around that space. You mentioned the fridge, and I always look at that ad that's on TV and the lady's talking to the fridge and ordering the milk and stuff. And I remember when I was at Bon, someone told me that would happen, that was going to happen one day. And that was a long, long time ago. And I just remember, man, that'd be cool. And now it's kind of reality, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know how good it works. I've never actually used one, but I think that is some of the cool things. And I guess your industry is kind of on the cutting edge of that, right? And bringing what sort of, I guess, to join the association and to be a designer, what sort of, I guess, do you have to have like qualifications and all that sort of stuff? Or because you mentioned students, where are you bringing in people from to join the association? Yeah,
right. So you don't have to be qualified to be an NKBA member. Our qualifications are design qualifications. So it's the National Diploma in Design. We've got a kitchen strand and a bathroom strand coming out next year. So it's actually the only kitchen and bathroom design qualification on the framework for education in New Zealand.
Oh, wow.
So you don't have to have that to be a member. Of course, we encourage everybody to look at it because it's an amazing qualification. But our members come from within industry. So we have designers that work for themselves. We have designers that work for manufacturers. We have manufacturers that don't have designers.
Yes.
We have suppliers. We have benchtop fabricators. And they come from all of those areas.
That's cool. So talk to me a wee bit about that qualification. So say, because we have a number of young people listening to this and obviously business owners as well. And I'm always asking, hey, what are you doing to help your industry and stuff like that? So that qualification, is that part of what you guys have set up?
So we work collaboratively with BCITO. So
Okay.
it's similar to an apprenticeship. It's not quite an apprenticeship what we do. So we run, you have a week in the classroom, then you spend a week, then you spend the rest of the year learning on the job.
Nice.
It's not something for the young people. You've got to be in the industry, working in the industry to do it. However, as you said, we're always trying to bring up the industry and encourage new people. So we're looking at options around alternative qualifications where we can go out to the high schools and say to the kids, hey, come on, give it a try. Because I think, kitchen design is something that isn't widely advertised.
No.
But I know a lot of people that do it, love it.
Yeah. I guess that's one of the cool things we're having this conversation, because we, like when you think of kitchen design, like, I don't know, do people just think of architects or do they think of, becoming a designer or kitchens?
Yeah, and that's a really good point, because obviously you can go to an architect and you can they can help you to design a kitchen, but the designers that we have are specialised in those areas, so they can just add that little bit extra. It's just that level of detail. They're really skilled, constantly upskilling themselves, learning about new products, new technologies, and just different ways of doing things. And it always fascinates me when we see them working. Yeah. And they look at a space and you think, gosh, that's just a square box. And this, but we can move this and we could do that. And, the way they think is just, it's clever.
That is pretty cool. I like when you see what they can do in the same area, then you look at that area and you're like, oh, okay. But then they see it completely different.
Absolutely, yeah. Really clever.
And like, I know you guys do quite a bit of upskilling. What's the, do you have to have a certain amount of, like in some industry, you have to have points and all this sort of stuff? Or do you guys just want to, as an association, upskill people all the time?
It's a mixture of both. So obviously, really one of the key purposes for us is about bringing the industry up and bringing them up all together. So that is obviously through education, but education happens in lots of ways. So it's coming to conference and listening to you speak. It's going along and seeing a supplier's showroom and some new product. It's sitting in the classroom and learning something. We offer a couple of workshops and day courses and things as well that people can do. And we also do really amazing events where we get people out and about in different cities, and they go to showrooms and they go to art galleries and they hear from architects and speakers. And so there's lots of different ways to do it, but it's very much a core value of our association, education.
Because obviously, like that's fast moving. Like, you don't have to go into some of these showrooms today and you're seeing things and you're going, wow, like obviously you've got to upskill in that area too, right? I remember I did another presentation for you guys down at in Mandeville Street there, and I was blown away by the different technology in bathrooms and kitchens now. I was like, wow, it's pretty cool to have places like that around, and I guess that's what you're talking about. People can go, as a group, you guys can go in and people do talks and stuff like that.
Absolutely, yeah,
that's so cool.
Yeah.
What do you love about when I know you said the people, but what do you love about your role specifically? Because it's like such a big role. You're talking about organising events, you're talking about payroll, you're talking about team managing the team.
Yeah.
What is it specifically that you really love about what you do day to day?
Well, I don't get bored.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
Yeah. And that for me is great, but I think it's really actually about being in a situation where I've gotten a really amazing team and they've got a really diverse group of skills and capabilities. And it's being able to call on those to actually really improve the quality of offering every day that we can do for our members. Yeah. So, just that strategic oversight and being able to really listen to the members, hear what they want, what they're wanting, and then trying to be responsive to that as best as we can.
And so what have you learned about, like, because there's a couple of things to unpack there. What have you learned about looking after a team and growing a team? Like, what have you learned there?
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously anybody that's done it knows that it can be quite challenging.
Yeah.
I really enjoy it. I think the key thing for me that I've learned is that you need to understand your team as an individual, and you need to understand what makes them tick, because if you can do that and be respectful of that, then I think you can work together in a really meaningful way.
Yeah. Do you have any things that you do specifically to help you do that, to really understand them as individuals? Because I think business owners listening to this, they're always looking for an insight into that kind of, how do I lead my team better? And looking and understanding them individually is such a skill, but it's a hard one to do.
Yeah, absolutely. So I guess naturally I'm a bit of a empath anyway, so I'm quite an active listener. I meet with the team individually each week. So we have just an individual catch up. We have a collective catch up. And I really took the time with each of them to sit down and understand where their values were, what matters to them, because if you can utilize those skills that they have and those passions and the values, then you can you just tailoring where their strengths are.
Yeah. So finding out what kind of, what do they value, and what makes them, as you said, what makes them tick. How do you then, because this is one thing I always struggle with, is, and then how do you make sure that they're seen and heard and feel understood when it comes to that? Because that's another skill as well, right? And it sounds like, because you're an active listener, you probably listen more to understand than listen to reply.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So sorry. So what was the actual?
Do you have any not tricks, but so if someone's told you something about their values and all that sort of stuff, how do you then make sure that you follow that up in a way that they feel seen and heard?
Yeah. So I guess for me, if I'm thinking about in the work capacity, I'm looking at that big picture that we're trying to achieve, within an organisation, and then thinking about that conversation and going, well, hey, actually, that particular thing that we're trying to achieve really aligns with this value. So can I direct this person towards that particular task or objective or KPI or whatever it might be, because that's going to have value for them. It's going to have meaning for them. So they're going to then want to deliver that.
They don't want to deliver it based on their value.
Yeah,
that's cool. Have you got an example of any how that's played out? Is that? Can you share that kind of stuff? I don't know. Whole secret.
Yeah, maybe I'm letting out, but I don't want to let away too many secrets.
I guess from my perspective, I really like that, aligning the direction of the business to the value that they've told you about, right? And I guess if once they understand that, you've got that in mind, they're going to want to do more towards that, right?
Yeah, I think so. And I think that's the thing. People don't have to be in boxes, Your job might be this, but that doesn't mean you can't contribute to this.
Yeah.
It doesn't, so they don't have to be locked into a box. And I think, creating a safe working environment for people, you say, hey, look, I know you're really passionate about this. This is what we're trying to achieve. Can you go and do that?
Yeah.
And come back to me and let's see how you've gone. Yeah. And I think that's great, because I think, if you give people that leeway, it makes them want to perform better.
Yeah. How do you find you give people opportunities, and how do you ensure that they are on track and not deviating away? Because I know we deal with creatives, and that can be a wee bit hard sometimes, because creators are naturally creative, and they're naturally thinking everything else. They're naturally thinking of all this next, and sometimes so how do you capture that and make sure everyone stays on track? Is that done through your weekly meetings, done through your weekly catch-up?
Yeah, so it's both of those things. So we have our team catch-up, so we all talk about what we've been doing, and we all know what each other's pressure points are through that.
How do you know that? The workloads?
The workloads, yeah. Because that's really it. We've often all got a project on the go. So there's often always some sort of a deliverable on the go. So we all understand that. We understand where the pressure points are. So then the idea is we can pick up if we need to help each other out.
Do you mention that verbally? You say, hey, I'm working on this, but I'm it's starting to get a bit heavy, or it's starting to get and can anyone help me? Or is it you as the leader going, hey, how are you going? Do you need help? What do you find there?
No, well, it's probably both. So it's definitely not me running a meeting. It's a collective meeting that we had.
Nice.
And if anybody, we actually had one yesterday, and one of the team members just said, "Hey, look, I'm drowning at the moment. I've got these 5 things. They've got to happen." And I said, "Right, well, I can pick one of those up. How's everybody else looking?" And that's really how we work to try and help each other out, because. My role is as busy as I mentioned, but everybody else in the office is in the same boat. Yeah. So if we don't help each other out, we just can't. We just wouldn't be achieving.
I like that. So collective meeting. Hey, I need help right now. Who can help me? What if no one put their hand up to help?
Well, it doesn't happen.
It doesn't happen. And is that just the culture?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, we're all, we're a great team, and we all want to help each other out. I think if we had someone in there that wasn't, they probably wouldn't stick around for that long, but because they wouldn't be the right fit.
Yeah.
But I think then I would probably have to direct that and say, hey, you need to pick this up.
Because other people see it, right? And people want to work with people that are helping them.
Yeah. And
vice versa. And then if you're not, well, it kind of stands out, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I like the fact that you've created a safer environment, though. That's real important. Because if you didn't have a safe environment, people wouldn't bring those things up.
No.
Where did you learn leadership from?
On the fly.
Yeah.
I've read a few books and things, but I guess I had a couple of really terrible managers in my time.
Yeah.
And I think learning from that and the things not to do.
Yeah, true.
And I'm not perfect at it. Every day I'm evolving and I'm learning. And I think as long as I keep doing that, then that's really quite pivotal as well.
How did you know that the manager was terrible? Because I think of people straight away.
Yeah.
I know them. I don't want to name them.
No.
I don't know if I know them.
Once upon a time I might have wanted to name someone, but no, I think it's how they make you feel.
Yeah.
It's the fact that, I'm running 5 minutes late and I'm dreading making this phone call. I have had situations with sick children. I got, told, well, that's not my problem. Get in here.
Wow.
It's just being inconsiderate of people, because ultimately, we're all here to work and we're all here to do our job, but we've also got lives as well. If you can't balance that, that's just not sustainable.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, people don't go the extra mile. That manager, right?
No, they don't.
And when the push really comes to shove and that manager needs it, God, they're not getting the help, right?
No, that's right.
It's about understanding people. And you're right. Understanding people have lives. Hey, we come to work and we work a lot, but we have, we have children, we have other things going on. Yeah. And good managers understand that. I think really good managers and good leaders, what you said at the start, they understand people on an individual level.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's really important.
That was a big change for me, is making sure that I'm connecting with team, as an individual, and listening for those cues, So one of the things I like to do is at Christmas time, I buy books for every person, and I'm listening for cues all throughout the year. And what are they interested in? Oh, they're interested in that. Write that down.
Yeah.
They're interested. Oh, didn't know that. One person said the other day they don't really like enjoying reading books, but they like reading this type of book.
Yeah.
So guess what they get for Christmas? They're getting this type of book. Yeah. And so it's all those little things, I think, that add up to allowing you to build those relationships with your people.
That's it, and in the relationship's key. And I'm really impressed, because I don't know many males that pay attention like that. Yeah. It seems to be a much more female trait. Yeah. And I think that's great.
I think I got it from my mum. My mum was very like, and my grandmother. Like, my grandmother, I think, was naturally curious. She'd always ask you a ton of questions. Yeah. And you always knew she was trying to figure out something, right? Yeah. Well, so you mentioned books. What leadership books have you read? Can you remember them?
Oh, I've read all of them. Well, no, maybe not all of them, but, Habits of Highly Successful People. Recently, I got one from you.
Yes.
The new James Laughlin book, which is really good. Even Atomic Habits is another one that I've really enjoyed. Yeah. Struggled with the 5 a.m. club, if I'm honest.
Is that because you saw me at 5 a.m.?
Well, I don't want to get up at 5 a.m., but it was probably one of the weirdest books I've read in a while.
Yeah. I have not read that, and I did pick it up, and I was like, that's not me.
No.
And I get up at 5, but it's just... Yeah, I think Steve Covey was one of the first books I ever read.
Yeah.
When I started reading, because I didn't read till I was 23.
Yeah.
I didn't really get it. It was interesting when it was my school's interview yesterday, and you could tell that he'd lost his book that he was supposed to read, and he just went to he just openly told the teacher, "This book is boring." And she goes, "I know," and because he reads books at home, right? Well, I never really read at home because I didn't get it, didn't understand it, didn't see the reason why you should have to read Animal Farm, all that sort of stuff. I didn't read a book till I was 23.
Yeah.
And when I read a book cover to cover, I think one of the first books I read was Habits of Highly Successful People.
Yeah.
And it was really interesting to see the patterns. And I think, even with James's book, there's patterns and frameworks inside that you can now start to install in your day-to-day lives, and also the day-to-day lives of your team, which is really, really cool.
Yeah.
Leadership. Always interested in talking to leadership, with people about leadership, because it's a big part of who we are. Especially, you're not only leading your team, but you're leading an organization. And obviously, you have to set the strategic direction with other people. But at the end of the day, you're accountable for that too, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So that's a big part. I did note on your LinkedIn profile that you did do marketing as well.
I did.
And I know. Right, I wanted to ask you, what do you love, or what did you love about marketing? Not what do you love about marketing?
Yeah.
What did you love about marketing back in the day that made you want to get into, going and doing a degree?
So I guess for me, it was always kind of marketing and events that appealed.
Yep.
And I just, I've always talked a lot. I've always been quite a creative.
Yep.
And I guess I just liked the idea of, if I'm honest, when I was younger and at high school, we'd go through magazines and look at all the ads,
totally.
get really excited about it. I had visions of working for such and such, and of course, that changed a little bit. Yeah. But I think, it's just that being able to have a bit of fun and deliver something fun to, while you're doing your job.
So when was the dream shattered? And was it in your university? Because I always tell people, when young people turn up here, I'm like, seriously, I know it looks fun, but this is graft. This is work day in, day out.
Yeah, absolutely.
And some people are like, oh, yeah. And then they come to me like 6 months later and like, oh my God, you were so true. Thank you for being honest. I actually had a girl come back to me 5 years later and say, thank you for being honest and telling me this was going to be hard.
Yeah.
5 years later, she's worked for 2 different companies. She just wanted to come and say thanks for not sugarcoating anything when she was coming out of university.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. She'd done a degree in marketing.
Like, and to be fair, the degree in marketing is probably quite business heavy, and also lots of group projects, so that's not so fun.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. But, I had a great time at uni. It was fun. And I came out and I was excited. Yeah. And I actually my first job was for an electronics company, and it wasn't overly fun. Yeah. And I was involved in writing electronics manuals and, making them look pretty. And that was marketing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was marketing back in the day, wasn't it?
Yep.
And were you a designer as well? Is that what they...
No, I worked with a designer. Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
So what jobs have you done then with marketing involved and running events? I know you worked for the council for a wee bit.
Yep. And then, so obviously after I had the electronics job, I actually went over to London, and one of the first jobs I had was standing on the side of the road wearing a pizza board. And that was marketing.
I remember though. I probably would have walked past actually. You know me in London.
Oh, when was that? 2008.
Yeah. No, that's that. Yeah, that. But hey, you got to make money and you got to get by, and that's one of the jobs.
Absolutely. But that really surprised me. I think applying for a marketing job, and that was it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that wouldn't have been.
No.
No.
No. And do you remember the company?
No, I can't actually, no.
And was it one like flinging the board around and that sort of stuff?
Oh, no, I literally just had to walk up and down the footpath with it on and talk about specials and things.
I remember that.
Yeah.
I remember that in London.
Yeah. So, so there was that. And then obviously when I came back, I was really lucky. I got a job with the council. And what was really cool about that was that I was in the marketing team. I did so many things.
So they looking for someone with international experience at the time?
that's what they got.
Yeah. That's cool. So you get in there and then you start doing a lot more stuff, yeah?
Yeah, so when I started there, I'm just actually trying to remember, I actually started on I can't remember the exact date, but it was the Monday after the 4th of September 2010.
Ooh, yeah.
So I started and council was closed basically because we'd just had an earthquake.
Yeah.
So that was an interesting time. And, part of that, obviously we ended up working in civil defence.
Yep.
So there's a whole lot of experience that I got there that I wasn't expecting. But then once we sort of got back to normal, I guess, I worked for the art gallery. So I was the marketing advisor for the gallery. So advertising all the upcoming exhibitions and children's programs.
Is this the new one?
Yeah, the art gallery that's there now.
Yeah, beautiful.
And I also worked on some events, so did a lot of work with the events team, thinking like the Antarctic Festival, Buskers Festival. There was the Summertimes program, Kids Fest.
Yeah.
So done most of those.
They were just some big events there, right? Like the Buskers was huge.
Yeah,
You know, like, and I think it still is, but it's gone through a few different name changes since then. But the Summertimes one was massive as well.
It was.
That is. I've been to a few things in the gardens with that, and there's really, really well run events.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. I mean, the council's got an amazing setup. You know, they've got the comms and the marketing, and then, I mean, it's different now. It's a different entity, but and
It's quite Vision Z now.
It is, yeah, and great events team as well. So,
what do you love about events? What was the marketing of events, and what do you love about that? Because you obviously, you do that now with your role here, but what did you love about events?
I'm a kind of a list person and an organised person, and so I actually really love just going, right, let's start with a blank piece of paper and make this happen. Putting all the pieces together, and then on the day of delivering an event, watching the people enjoying that event. That's the reward. So I mean, I still love doing events. I love putting together conferences and awards evenings. And
give me some of the top 5 things, because I like putting on events.
Yeah.
What are the top 5 things that a business should look? And I think most businesses, in the world we're living in now, AI and technology, I think most businesses should be running some form of offline event to attract customers or potential customers. I'll give you a great example. We run lunch and learns, and we get people to come along and we'll teach them something. So lunch and learn, bring a friend, bring a business, blah, blah, blah. Whether people do business with us or not, it doesn't actually matter. We just want people to come in the room and meet us in a low key. And people always come up to you, oh, where do I pay?
Yeah.
Well, you don't have to pay. It's free. What do you mean it's free? Well, it's free. You're a client of ours, or you're a guest. And I think I heard another great one the other day. A guy, he owns a big photocopy company. He put on what did he put on? It was barbecue, beers, and butchery. So they started, and they was talking about hunting.
Yep.
And he apparently had 150 people there.
Wow.
Talking about that and just coming in, like, no mention of the business, but in the business.
Yeah.
Oh, that is genius. Because later on, when people need a copy, who are they going to think of?
Yeah, absolutely.
So creating events, I think it's really, really important in the world that we're living in now. So on the spot, what are your top 5?
So top 5 things to do for an
you got a blank canvas, and you're like, hey, here's the 5 things that you must do to make sure that your event goes really, really well.
Okay, so you need to understand who you're running your event for.
Nice.
You need to understand, again, what their value is and where they see that, your value, use the same word.
Yeah, but understanding who's it for and understanding the value that they want out of it.
Yes, yeah absolutely. Then brilliant. I think it's, these rinse and repeat events just are no good. So it's about creating some point of difference.
Like that. So like a something that makes people go, oh wow, I've got to go to that.
Yeah.
Like a theme kind of
theme.
Big idea?
Yeah, some sort of big idea, whatever that might be. And that, for us, that looks different every time.
Yeah. So do you do that like with your conference? Do you have a theme for it? And
yeah, we have had a theme in the past. We the last couple of years, we haven't had a theme, but we've very much kind of looked at, I guess, what the topics are that we're talking about. So we do a members survey every year. And we also, as you said, we have lots of different regional committees and groups. And so within those, there's lots of questions that get asked, and we keep a track of that. So we actually know what our members are asking about, and we hope to try and answer that when we run an event.
So that's like, if you just didn't catch that, surveying your potential customers or people that will be coming is genius, right? Because all of a sudden, you're giving them what they actually want. I remember I wrote down I wanted to learn more about AI. I wanted to learn more about whatever it is.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden it's on the event list.
Yeah.
Chances are they're going to come to that, right?
That's it. And there's no point in my mind of running an event that people don't want to go to.
Yeah.
I actually went to one on the weekend that was a bit like that. No, why am I here? It's it didn't feel like it was tailored to the people that were at it.
Yeah. Yeah. And it misses the mark, and all of a sudden you don't go again.
No. That's right.
Because you're like, I remember last time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. Like, just even that alone, the big idea and figuring out the topics, but surveying people, asking them questions, once again, actively listening versus, and this is, business owners do this all the time. They create something that they think people need, and it's actually, well, people don't need it. They, you got to want to come along, right?
That's right.
I don't need to come along. I want to come along. And that I think that's a big thing in the event space. You don't need to come along. You got to want to come along.
Yeah, and I think probably a mistake that people make as well is trying to run something, like you said before, that the beers and barbecues.
Yeah.
It's not a sales pitch.
No.
As soon as you start trying to sell to somebody, they're not coming to your event.
No, and the coolest part, I couldn't go because I was at another event, Inspire Foundation, but Paul, who went, he said it was brilliant. He just said it was so good. People talking about hunting, fishing, and they were sharing stories, and there was meat on the barbecue, and he ended up. Oh, he actually was Paul from Inspire. We had to go to another event. He actually then got 2 TVs for the Inspire Foundation to use.
Yeah.
And I thought that was really, really cool, right? Yeah. If you're going to buy, all of a sudden sales happen just because of being there.
Yeah. And it's that connection, right?
Yeah.
It's just people, again, just connecting and networking and building relationships.
Yes. So making your event, like understanding the value, but making it not too salesy.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. What was number 3? Did you have a number 3? We got understanding who, we got understanding the value, we got the making sure that you have a big idea and you got the topics right. What would be something else that people need to know to run a good event?
I think probably just do your research. Like if you're bringing in a speaker or a presenter or something like that, understand what it is that they're actually delivering.
Yep.
If you don't, you run a real risk of something falling completely flat and you've spent a whole lot of money on it.
Yeah. It's nothing worse, right?
No. Yeah.
Yep. So understand, if you are bringing in people, speak to other people about them, find out what's going on.
Yeah.
And really make sure that it's fit for your audience, right?
Yeah. Absolutely.
And that is a big one too, like making sure it's fit for your audience, because not everyone is fit for everyone's audience.
No.
And some people get into too much detail, and I think, and some people want that detail, but some other people don't. So being really, really clear on that. What do you do from like making an experience when people get there? Like when I looked around your area, and you had some really, really cool, what do you call them? Like suppliers that turned up with really cool stands and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Well, do you think that's a big part of running an event, is having, getting your suppliers to buy into it and make part of that experience?
Yeah, definitely. Because I think that having meaning for everybody is what's key. So, having a speaker to talk to the designers is great, but then how do you add meaning to the suppliers? So it's kind of being adaptive to run the event in a way that is meaningful for everybody. And that might be, having those stands for the suppliers. It might be that, hey, we've got 2 speakers and some people want to go and hear one and some people want to go hear the other.
Nice.
It's just, I guess thinking about your entire audience and not trying to make one, again, not putting everybody in the same box.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I guess, when you look at your one, when you have suppliers, they have different kind of maybe different agendas to other people coming along.
Yeah.
But they also want to get value out of it too, right?
Absolutely.
Nice.
Yeah.
What about what would you do after the conference experience? What would you recommend? Like, I've run a really good conference. What do I need to learn afterwards? Well, even if I've not even a conference, I've run a really good workshop and anything. What should I be doing afterwards?
Well, it's always good to get feedback, to hear what you did well, what you didn't do well, what you could do better. So that's why we would always follow up, particularly a big event, with a survey.
Yep. And how well do people respond to that sort of stuff? Do people actually give their feedback?
Yeah, although, in my experience, feedback's always received, that it tends to be people that have negative things to say that offer feedback. People that are happy tend to be quite quiet.
Yeah.
But that's okay, because feedback's good, and if you're prepared to hear it and listen to it and try to adapt from that next time, then I think you can learn from that. And I think probably the other really key thing to do is to send out a thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, just say thank you. Thanks for coming along.
Thank you for coming along.
Yeah, thanks for being a part of it.
Because once again, people have choice, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, people have choice, and I think that's one of the biggest things today is, like, I think if you can understand that people have choice and they're voting with their dollars and they're voting with their time to come to you, then saying thank you is pretty easy, right?
It is. Yeah.
Well, it's easy to do. It's easy not to do.
Yeah. Well, it's an important one not to forget. Yeah.
Yeah, I really do believe events have a real place, and definitely in the next, 3-5 years, that businesses that can do that. And I think also joint venture like events is going to be a big thing, so bringing people together that have, I guess a mutual, have mutual clients, mutual customers, and bringing them together to do stuff together can be really beneficial.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
I find it interesting, like you're in an industry, and you obviously, you play a big part in, I guess in the New Zealand economy, like your industry is a big part of the building industry, right? Sometimes people look at it, it's the Kitchen and Bathroom Association, but actually it's a huge part of what goes on in people's, everyone has a kitchen, everyone has a bathroom.
Yeah.
How have you guys seen the industry? Because let's be honest, everyone's had it a bit tough over the last 2 to 3 years. How's the industry? And how have your members been going?
Look, I think it's been tough for everybody, like you say, and I think there was a lot of optimism earlier this year that things were going to turn around, and it perhaps hasn't happened quite as quickly as people would like. There's certainly been pockets of the country that have been worse hit than others, which seems to be also across the board.
Across the board, we can say it's Auckland, isn't it? And Hamilton.
Wellington.
Wellington, definitely.
Yeah, it's pretty tough. I mean, we've been pretty lucky down here. I think there's a lot of construction happening. There's still a lot of work, but generally people have been doing it tough. Unfortunately, we've had some members that are no longer, which is a really sad thing to see.
Yeah.
Those businesses are now gone, and it's a real shame.
Yeah.
I think it's been, you had COVID, and then you've had, it's sort of been a culmination of a lot of things. Yeah. I'm really hopeful that 2026 is moving in the right direction, and it's feeling like it might.
It definitely is, we're in a position where we talk to a lot of people across New Zealand, and even talking at the workshop you came to about a month ago, definitely people, hey, things are starting to turn. It's not, you're right, it's not as fast as everyone thought it was going to. And I think, that's because people were worried about it, so but definitely talking to a few builders, they're definitely starting to pick up. There's more renovations happening. We've just got our windows done at our house, and talking to their people, like more people are doing renos, more people are doing those upgrades, which I think, that probably wasn't happening 2 years ago. So, things are starting to move.
Yeah, and I know, our designers, we've just recently done a survey just with, what's going on, and definitely saying that there's a lot of renovation work coming through for them. Some new builds in parts of the country as well. So that is really exciting, because I think probably 12, 18 months ago, there was a lot of quotes happening, and then not a lot of movement.
Not a lot of movement.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. How often do you survey your members? Obviously with 13 100 members and 500 different businesses, you can learn some stuff pretty quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. So we do, like I say, our annual members survey that goes out, and then we do our annual trend survey.
Okay.
So we ask basically what's happening out there in the market.
And how do you frame your questions? Because I find that really interesting. How do you frame them? You know, annual members, like, do you have a theme, or is it just a set of questions that you ask all the time?
No, we definitely look at it each year. So it tends to be around what the members are wanting, you know, so what's happening for you at the moment? What would add value for you? How do you find conferences? How do you find the awards? Are you wanting to enter awards? How are the regional events? You know, do you want to hear more speakers? Or, you know, yeah. So it's just really, again, it just comes down to that value, because the business that we are in is people. Yeah. So we need to understand what those people need.
Yeah. So understanding the business you're in, I like that. And what those people need to stay a member and keep making sure that they're getting the value.
Yep.
So and then the trends one, are you looking for different trends that they're up to, or is this trends in the economy, trends in
design trends?
Design trends.
Yep. So we interview our members annually on that, and they do basically like predictions for the next year.
Oh, real?
Yeah. So
good.
That's just about to come out. It comes out around Christmas time, so it makes for some good reading.
Yeah. And where does that go to? Like, do you produce that as content, or?
So it's content, so it's available on our website. Yep. It goes into a couple of publications that we're affiliated with. So there's an article coming out in Abode very shortly, which will have that in there.
Any sneak peeks?
I can tell you that green is a hot colour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Green,
like forest green.
Forest green.
Yep.
Oh wow.
So that's a bit of a shift.
I saw a green the other day in a kitchen in a new house, and it was green, but it was a softer green. I was like, oh, that's really, really nice. And then they had it in a tile, and I was like, oh, that's really, really nice too.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if you told me, I would have gone, no, I don't like that. And when I saw it up, I was like, oh, that looks really, really nice.
Yeah.
That's
so
good.
Whoever did that house is getting ahead of the tree.
Yeah, they're definitely ahead of the tree.
Yeah.
Okay, green. Well, you hit that first here, like green. Awards, you mentioned it, and I know because Sarah went to them.
Yeah.
Why are they such a big thing in the industry? Because like Sarah said, the room was electric.
Oh, excellent. That's great feedback. Look, I think it's really important. Our designers are so talented and they do so much work, and some of these projects take years to complete. Yeah. You know, and they really put themselves out there. They enter the awards. There's a lot of work involved in that. It really is. It's quite a project, and it's just so important to celebrate it.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what it comes down to. So it's a celebration of, you know, a culmination of work from so many people, led by that designer. And I would say, I think it's one of the best awards programs in the design industry. Yeah. You know, I think we do it really, really well. That event is just a beautiful event. And
great to see like industry celebrating the industry success and individuals inside that, because in New Zealand we have this thing, I think it's getting better, but the tall poppy syndrome, you know, like, and I think, you know, the more opportunities we can celebrate, you know, but also like they'll then market that you won that, and here's what I won it for.
Yes.
Here's what it looks like, because you know, I think what you guys do is very transformational. You know, you can show a transformation and people can go, oh, wow.
Yeah.
And you know, people can see it. And then, you know, you actually won something for that. I think that's pretty exciting.
Yeah. And I think it's like our designers, we've got, like, I always say NKBA is a community, and I think it's a family, you know, and it is, you know, I mean, there's a lot of relationships and connection within our association, and it's really important for our designers to celebrate with each other.
Yes.
And that's a really nice thing to see.
Yeah.
You know, being happy for each other and celebrating with each other.
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. NKBA is a community, and communities stick together and they celebrate together. Yeah. You know, they obviously come for the content, but they stay for the community, and that community is a huge part of it, right?
Absolutely.
And working together, and part of that is celebrating. So that it makes it even more enjoyable. How often do you have those?
The awards events once a year.
Once a year.
Yep.
Nice. And obviously, can anyone enter as long as you're a member? Like, is there like a hierarchy, or do you have to like put your best foot forward, and then like who judges?
Okay, so you have to be what we call a designer of NKBA. So our designers have got different like different, sort of like an Air Points program, I guess, you know. So they have different tiers that they're applied to depending on their experience and qualifications. So you have to be noted as a designer of NKBA. That's a really simple process. It doesn't keep anybody out. It's just a way of allowing people to enter amongst their peers.
Nice.
So we have categories for those designers so they can enter against somebody in the same level. But then there's also the wider awards program. So anybody that enters gets entered into about 6 categories automatically. Then they opt into a whole lot of other ones as well.
Nice. Is there any chosen by the community? Do you have a community one? Like
we have the People's Choice.
Yeah, People's Choice.
Yep. So that runs afterwards. So our judges that we use for the main awards program, we have technical judges. So they go through and look at all the technical aspects of the kitchens and bathrooms and make sure that they're all technically sound. And then we have our second panel, and they go through and they're looking at all the aesthetics and all of the, the nicer,
the
detailed stuff. And from there, they decide who's won. It's a very, very robust anonymous process. So they know.
I remember Sarah telling me that, like, it was really, really secretive.
Yes. Oh, very much. And I mean, in the judging room, I'm there, and I'm the only person who knows who has entered, so nobody's got any way of knowing that, and they don't find out until the night.
Brilliant.
So that's really cool, and and then we do the People's Choice after that. So the People's Choice is just a way for our designers to go out and promote their entries, get some extra visibility on it, and ask the community what they think is winning.
So how does People's Choice get voted on?
So it gets voted on our awards platform.
Brilliant.
So you can just jump in, you can vote for your favourite kitchen, favourite bathroom. And it's really interesting because often what the public are liking is not what the judges are liking.
Yeah.
I think that's where it's just coming from 2 different perspectives.
Yeah, because obviously the designers have their eye and they have the things that they want to see and what the trends that they're learning from and where the lens that they're coming from, and then other people will probably just say, oh, I really like that.
Yeah.
When that's functional. I'd see that. Yeah.
Exactly.
That's very, very cool.
Yeah.
What would you say? Someone's listening to this and they're in, kitchen, bathroom, and what would you say? What are some of the reasons people should definitely join an association like yourselves?
Well, I think it's that sense of community is the key one. And I mean, obviously, with anything, you get out what you put in.
Yeah.
So if you're going to join an association, do it because you want to be involved.
Yeah.
And then be involved. Say yes to the events. Say yes to the educational opportunities. Say yes to the conferences. Come along and meet people. And, because time and time again, we watch it and we see somebody who's new and they come to a meeting and they're sort of in the corner and they don't know anybody. And then 12 months later, it's like that Seinfeld thing,
Yeah.
Everybody knows you and you're welcome, and so I think just being amongst it is really the key.
Yeah, and if you're passionate about the industry, come along, see what's going on.
Yeah.
See and talk to your peers. I think that's one of the coolest things I've noticed. Even when I was up in Hamilton, I was like, you could see people together talking about things, and not just talking about designs or what they were doing, but relationships. Obviously people had known each other for a long time, and those relationships are getting built. And I really always put it down to people come for the content, but they always stay for a community.
Yeah.
And people want to find their place to belong. And I think that's the coolest part about what you guys are creating, is you're finding a place where people can belong.
Yeah, absolutely. It's
so good.
Really key. Yep.
What do you reckon the gift is that this association has given you?
Look, so much really, because when I look at when I started there, I started in an admin job because my youngest was only 18 months old, and it was just a wee part-time job, and I didn't really know much about the industry.
Yeah.
I have just learned and grown so much as a person, as a leader, just your personal growth. I'm just trying to think about how to actually qualify that.
But personal growth is huge, right? Because I really, in business and in leadership roles, I believe it's probably the hardest but most rewarding personal development roles when you're in leadership and you're challenged constantly.
Yeah.
I think Rachel said around here in our team, she said one of the things I love about being at Digital Influence is you let us swim in the deep end.
Yeah.
And I think, like you're either going to swim or you're not going to swim. And then sadly you're going to drown, right? And I think that's kind of, I guess, what you're kind of saying too. You've grown up and you've been given opportunities, and sometimes you've said yes, and it's like, oh, do I know how to do that?
Yeah, well, that's it. And I
figure it out.
I figure it out. And also I think learning from things is so key.
Yeah.
Because that's where that personal growth comes from. If you get it wrong, well, that's okay. Just don't get it wrong next time.
Yeah.
Do it differently.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
And I think you're just navigating conversations in a meaningful way has been probably, because like I keep saying, we're all about the people. So being able to, not every day is an easy day. And so being able to have conversations at all sorts of different levels has been,
I like that. Navigating conversations in a meaningful way.
Yeah.
And because you naturally an empath, you have a bit of a gift for that, right?
Well, I guess so. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I can tell you have, because like you definitely listen to understand versus listening to reply. And I think, that is a gift that your team will notice, right? And they might not say it, but they will definitely notice it.
I hope so. Yeah.
Yeah. This has been crazy. We've been going for 15 minutes.
Yeah, I know.
How fast has this been? Yeah. You thought we were going to struggle to talk.
Yeah.
I love the fact that you see a gift in it. Where do you see the future of the association, and what are you excited about for the future?
Look, there's so many opportunities for the association, and that's the thing. It really feels endless and limitless. We're really looking hard to grow our education offering. I would love to see more events, like more interactive events, things like what, having people coming and talking like you did in Hamilton. I think that, we're thinking about actually looking and getting into the podcast space.
I think that's something you should definitely look at.
Yeah.
Bringing in people, bringing in experts, even having a panel. I reckon a panel would go really well here.
Yeah.
With what you're doing, and you could be talking about design trends. You could be talking about a whole bunch of other topics.
Yeah.
But I think people are thirsty for the insights. And people would listen to it. The reality is, it's not just a podcast now; it's actually a TV. It's media. People will consume this online. They'll search on AI or search on wherever they're searching in the future, and your association and your videos can get recommended.
Yeah.
It's a great opportunity. It's a great opportunity if you have experts that are willing to share their insights.
That's one of the things we're really blessed with.
Yep. So I think, that is something that you definitely should be doing. So don't even think it as a podcast, but think it as media.
Yeah.
And it's visual media now too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is exciting.
Yeah. So lots of ideas.
Yeah.
It's just eating the elephant one bite at a time.
Yeah. Yeah, and making sure that you, once again, listening to those members. I think that's the biggest thing I got out of what we talked about today is you guys are very good at listening to your members and then giving back what they want. Hey, you're not going to be able to help everyone at that time. There's always going to be things that you're going to miss. But if you get it right, I reckon when you ask questions and you get their feedback and you go back, and if you get it right, 80 to 90% of the time, and you put on you're actually showing that you are listening. You can't do everything. It's just the world we live in, but and come back around. Seriously, this has been a fantastic conversation. Where do people get hold of you?
So they can get hold of me at nkba.org.nz.
Yep. Okay. Do you what about do you do anything on LinkedIn or anything like that?
I am on LinkedIn. Yes. I don't know what that is.
I will put all the details in the show notes. Well, actually, I won't. Bronte will, because Bronte's a lot better at it than me.
Thank you, Bronte.
So we'll put all your details, and if people want to, if you want to look at joining the association, what actually happens? Do you have a conversation? What goes on?
Yeah, absolutely. So Cherie and our team looks after all of that, and so all they need to do, jump on the website, click on the membership page, look at all the information, and then they can reach out either to Cherie or myself. info@nkba.org.nz.
Nice.
Somebody will come back to you with some information, and we're happy to hold people's hand right through the process. So
because I guess it can be a wee bit daunting joining an association, you know, and like, so having someone to actually talk you through it, walk you through it,
Yeah.
answer the questions that you've got going, you know, is really, really useful. So
Yeah.
hey, I know you're busy. I really appreciate you coming on. I know this wasn't your favorite hour of the day, but I think you did a great job. So Rachel did her job. Now it's time for you to do your job. So I really want you to share this podcast, especially I think Rachel made some really, really good insights around leadership and actually how to have meaning conversations with your team and actually how to take those conversations and actually make them real to the business. What are the core values of the team members or the person that you're talking to, and how does that relate to your business? And how can you match those two of them together to actually get a win-win there? Because, you know, as we've said, you know, people that are passionate about their core value, their natural core values are more likely to go and want to help.
Yeah.
You know, and want to get more and go that extra mile. And I thought it was really, really interesting, you know, having a collective meeting and having people come together. Hey, by the way, I need help. You know, maybe test that in your business. Have a collective meeting and see who needs help and see who's willing to then help. And you'll see if you've got a safer environment or not. If everyone doesn't put their hand up, well, you know, maybe you need to listen to some more of these podcasts. So anyway, your job now is to share the podcast. Go out on LinkedIn, Instagram, share the podcast because we love it when you share the podcast. I love it when I get notified that people are sharing the podcast, and I love seeing more and more people downloading episodes and more people tagging us in on the episodes too. You know, we're constantly in the charts now. We're constantly touching more and more people, which is what this podcast is all about. So, Rachel, thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. All right. As always, go out there, have fun, take action, and just remember to celebrate your victories.